Today is Friday, February 6th, 2026. Welcome to This Week in Natural Refrigerants News, where we recap the top stories on naturalrefrigerants.com. This podcast is generated and read by artificial intelligence and may contain errors. We're your hosts, AT&MO, and the articles for today's podcast were organized by naturalrefrigerants.com's managing editor and written by its writers. You can find links to each article in the show notes. We have a pretty heavy stack of reports this week. Let's start with some significant toxicity data coming out of Duke University.
Right. This is Heather Stapleton's team. They've been looking into PFAS exposure, specifically in firefighters in North Carolina.
And trying to connect TFA levels to thyroid dysfunction, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the concentrations they found were, they were striking. In the blood serum they analyzed, TFA was the most abundant compound.
By a lot.
Yeah, a median concentration of 20.1 nanograms per gram. They were specifically looking for a link to thyroglobulin antibodies, or TGAB.
And they did find a positive correlation there, at least preliminarily.
They did. But it's worth noting, they're calling it inconclusive for now. As they processed more batches, the results started to vary. Still, just having TFA at those levels is a huge flag for, potential health effects.
The part that really jumped out to me for our industry was the seasonality. They found TFA levels were about 15% higher in the spring and summer.
Which lines up perfectly with the breakdown of HFO 1234 AC during peak AC season.
It really does, and that connection gets even clearer when you look at another study this week, this one from York University in Toronto.
Professor Cor Young's work. She found that atmospheric TFA dropped by 2 to 5 times during the COVID lockdowns back in 2020.
So when people stopped driving,
the TFA levels plummeted. It basically proves the main source in cities isn't legacy HFCs, it's these short-lived precursors. It's 1234 from cars.
Which converts to TFA in what, about 12 days?
Roughly, yeah. So Young's whole argument is that if you regulate these short-lived precursors, you'd see a really rapid, measurable drop in environmental TFA.
Okay, let's shift gears to the application side. We saw a really massive deployment of hydrocarbons in a data center.
Yeah, this is Penta Infra in Hamburg. Their new 4.4 megawatt HAM01 facility is using strictly R290.
That's a big commitment to propane.
It is. They've got 6 air-cooled second chillers, and each one is 960 kilowatts. The whole design leans heavily on free cooling.
For how much of the year?
About 80% of the annual hours. It's how they're hitting that PUE of 1.2, which they need to do to comply with Germany's Energy Efficiency Act.
So it's a clear case where the efficiency of R290 is just as important as the low GWP.
For sure. And they've built it with the potential to recover heat into district networks down the line. It's a very forward-thinking setup.
Speaking of efficiency and heat, Unic Air and DTI are about to launch their cool heat system.
Ah, yes, the bespoke air handling unit. This one has an integrated CO2 heat pump, which is pretty interesting.
And the numbers look good. They're reporting a COP of 3.7 in moderate ambient temps.
Right, around 19 to 23 Celsius. And it still holds a COP of 3.2, even when it gets down below -5. But the real engineering story here is how they're handling summer operation.
You mean with the superheat adjustment?
Exactly. To deal with the changing airflow in the summer and, stop oil foaming in the Doran compressors, they just bumped the superheat set point up from 7K to 10K.
A simple, practical tweak that stabilizes the whole CO2 cycle.
It's a smart fix.
All right, last story. Let's go to New Zealand. A really significant commissioning for Manawatu cold storage.
Yeah, this is a market where ammonia has always dominated for big industrial loads. But they've gone with a big CO2 system here, using 2 SEM Frigo racks.
What's the total capacity?
It's 865 kilowatts total. One rack is all for blast freezing at -30°C, and the other handles the storage and loading areas.
And the standout feature is that 80-bar design pressure.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It completely eliminates the need for a backup generator just for pressure containment.
Which is a huge capex and complexity saver if the power goes out.
The system just contains the pressure. No venting, no emergency cooling. It's a much simpler, safer design compared to the older, lower pressure systems. It's really CO2 making a big move into industrial territory there.
This is AT&MO, and this has been the week in Natural Refrigerant News.